And those plays that you guys are mentioning, we just I love the spirit of our team. I love the fight of our team. We just didn't play well enough to win. We'll learn from this and hopefully get better as we go forward.
What did the Saints do defensively that the first three teams hadn't done to slow you down as much as they were?
Well, they're good defense. They got a lot of good players. They have first-round picks all across that defensive front. First-round picks of the corner, so they're a very talented group. They did a good job moving up front and not allowing us to consistently run the ball. And obviously that's a big part of what we want to do. And we weren't able to sustain drives on a consistent basis. So give them credit. They did a good job in the ball game, and we'll learn from this experience. Okay, all right, guys. Good to see you.
That's Jason Garrett. Cowboys lose 12-10. Jeff Kavanaugh, Ari Temkin. We're answering your questions, our thoughts. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
I'm Jay Novacek, former time.
Oh boy, we needed Jay Novacek today. Oh my goodness, Cowboy Nation. This loss, now that I'm looking at it, and the way Jason Garrett sounded like somebody done stepped on his toe, or he hit his toe into the end of a coffee table. Man, this game, as we look at it, it's just been one of those games where we can say to ourselves, man, we let victory slip away. And right now, rightfully so, we're going to be holding the egg on our face for at least a week until we play against a defeated Aaron Rodgers team who's he smelled blood in the water too, so he's going to try to get back with a win. So we got our hands full, and we lost a game that we could have won, and this is not us going around pointing the fingers, because when you point the finger, you got three pointing back at you. I'm always with the belief in a fight. You don't wait to finish the fight. You start the fight. Let me know about that, Cowboy Nation. Anybody who got some fighters that's in this chat box right now, you don't wait around for somebody to steal off you. You go ahead and you make that first punch. And we didn't do that. We played very cavalier. We played too nice. And we should figure out ways to just combat against that if we want to host a Lombardi trophy, right? These are the realities of it. Like I told my little cousin, he was mad and upset this weekend for the fact that he didn't get a chance to start, because he's in the 10th grade and he's playing on the varsity level football. And I said, your time is going to be there. You can't let the circumstances of where you at right now be your outcome for the rest of your life. You get out there and practice, and you let everybody know that you're going to bring in the thunder. And if the coach don't want to start you right now, you still got your 11th grade, your 10th, your 12th grade as well. So you're only in the 10th grade right now, but you made the varsity team. But don't fold up now. You got a long way to go in life. And this is what we got to do now. It's week 4. 4 quarters over with, right? You got four games within the first quarter of football. Now you're entering in the next quarter. You got 4 more games that you want to come out at least victorious in, as well as like what you did this first 4 quarters, you see. 3-1 again, you see. Or 3-4-0. But it felt like, I'm going to read some of y'all comments that's in the chat box. If you are listening in to 105.3 The Fan Live, let me know when we back in. Felt like Lanahan. This is from Cherie, I think that's how you say your name. Nobody was open, no time in the pocket. This is from Dino. But you got to at least throw the ball down the field. You got to let them get out of their defense. You got to at least show them that you are able and capable of doing it. It's back in. Appreciate you, man. You're the real MVP.
Here we go.
I'm going to let Brad Sham do his thing. I don't want to get hit with that. You know what. But really appreciate you all. The offense was trash today. And then let the narrative speak out. Let the narrative go. Don't. If you're not fond of ESPN, if you're not fond of NFL Network, and if you're feeling upset about everything, just tune in to me, Mark, and
how
Fox,
do you feel about this offense now?
And there they go. Let it go.
Near perfect offensive football for the Dallas Cowboys. 3 30-point games, and yet a 10-point game tonight, and that's as bad as the defense played, I suppose, at times, and being unable to stop the run. That is
defense
Alvin
good,
Kamara. It's not like it's Adrian Peterson. This is a really good back, so it's hard to lay blame here defensively, Jeff. It's hard to win in the NFL when you only score 10 points.
No, I think the defense did their job. The New Orleans Saints, to borrow a phrase from a coach, they are who I thought they were. The New Orleans Saints were a team that, with Teddy Bridgewater, were going to be fairly conservative on 30 passes. They had less than 200 yards. He didn't throw a touchdown. The Saints offensively were exactly who I thought they were. The Dallas Cowboys were not. I thought that they were something different. And I think, in all fairness, through 3 weeks of the season, I and a lot of other people have praised Kellen Moore a ton for being the forward-thinking, analytical guy who leans towards what makes offenses more efficient. And that went away. That went away tonight.
Right.
And so for me, it opens up the questioning of the offensive coordinator, because I think we saw something for 3 weeks that we then did not see in the fourth week of the season when no one had stopped it yet. I know that you haven't played great teams in your first 3 weeks, but I don't know why you would go away from. There was never a zone read.
Never.
There was never a third down and they run the option. There was never a run pass option on a third and short. This was not the offense that it's been through the first 3 weeks, and there will be plenty of criticism, I'm sure, to go around for it.
What are your thoughts on this game? 877-881-1053. You can call or text that number, 877-881-1053. Brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing. That's our thing. We're from Dak Prescott momentarily.
I agree 1,000,000% with I think that Jeff Kavanaugh. I agree 100%.
Was the offensive approach based on, defensively, something that they were seeing from
the ground game
zone
needed
cover?
tweaks, stretches and screens.
Dak was looking at it. Certainly
They didn't
seemed
do
like
none
at
of that,
times
Paul.
Dak was
Appreciate you.
reluctant to take shots down the field, which we've seen him do obviously a lot this season. So you wonder if it was sort of an approach married with what they were seeing in coverages. But the Saints have been a really good pass rushing front, but Marcus Lattimore and
Eli Apple,
these guys have not been living up to the expectations and the perception of those guys this season so far. They've not been good in their secondary so far this year.
And sometimes you don't get to win every game by a blowout in the NFL, and the Cowboys were never going to go 16-0. Now, sometimes you do just have to give credit to the opposition, and it looked like Marshawn Lattimore was giving Amari Cooper.
What I call Marshawn Lattimore.
Marshawn Lattimore,
Marcus Lattimore was the old running back of the...
Yes, South Carolina with the knee.
Different guy.
I hope he's doing great.
Yeah, me too.
But Marshawn Lattimore, it looked like he covered Amari Cooper really well. But I'm with you. It looked like Dak was at least looking down the field, but you had a lot of plays where it ended up being the check down, and everything about that just felt like the Cowboys offense from a year ago.
All right, we'll hear from Dak Prescott coming up. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Welcome back to your live coverage of Greg's morning commute. Let's take a look at that instant replay.
Yeah, old Greg is backing out of the drive, and bam! The classic hot coffee sipping.
My goodness. All right, so I agree with what they were saying, and somebody let me know when they get back live, like 95. I agree with what they were saying. It felt like we was in a time warp. It felt like, oh, is this 2019 or is it 2018? What's going on? Somebody pinch me, because I was thinking that you would see at least a zone read, like he said. And I was, guys that was watching me live, like 95, you guys know that I was sitting there looking at it like, hey, this would be a great opportunity for Dak Prescott. This would be a great. Then they motion Ezekiel Elliott way to the out far corner. And I'm sitting there like, whoa, what are you doing? That was the crucial moment right there. That would have been a situation or a time that I would set time out at least. I don't like what the coverage is looking like for the defense. Let's just go back and regroup. That's what I was looking at. And it seems like we didn't have no possessive receiver that can catch the 50-50 ball outside of Amari Cooper. He balled out today. I ain't going to even lie. Minus the fact that the NFL was trying, I guess, make makeup calls from last year against the LA Rams versus the Saints. Because there were so many times where as you look back and said, P.I., come on now. Where was Pollard? Yeah, Philip. Where was Pollard? And I'm looking at the opposite team, the opposing team, the opposition, and I'm looking at them using Murray, and I'm looking at them using Kamara, and I'm sitting there like, okay, cool, we gonna use ours. You know what I mean? It's like you finna fight or something, and you say, yeah, my boy's coming to help me out, and I'm looking around like, where my boy at? Where my dog at? Where my guy at that had the 100 yards from last week? Where were he? Whoa! They hit us up with the okie doke. He might have fact. I would have felt better if they would have not even dressed out Tony Pollard this game. I would have felt better if they said he had an undisclosed injury. How you guys feel? Would you feel better if they're not going to use him in those fashions? I would have felt naturally better if they wouldn't even put the guy jerseys on, number 20. They should have just left him at home. They should have left him in Dallas, man. Real talk.
Think differently.
Real talk. Let me know that you guys see Tony Pollard at all today. Man, it was crazy, Cowboy Nation. And we got to go back and regroup if you want to be a Super Bowl type of team. And if you want to really host that Lombardi trophy, you got to really, because you got.
Seems like their game plan was to be simple, but the defense took momentum away after the touchdown by letting the Saints have an 8 minutes drive.
True. Yeah. Who else we have? I bring it. Appreciate you. And what you
Dig
got
deep, learn, and adapt. Still 31. Keep your head up. Love, my Dallas family.
Yeah, boy. Crazy situations out here, man. And appreciate y'all for the donation to help grow the nation. And we have I bring it. Seems like the gameplay was simple, but the defense took momentum away after touchdowns by letting the Saints have the 8 minute. That's what the AI spoken on. Let's go back to these guys over here.
Jerry will let you know.
Oh, I saw it. No, yeah,
if he wants to let you know, he'll let you know. So we'll immediately in our own brains put a time frame on this that has Tyron missing 6 weeks, however long it actually turns out to be. But when I hear high ankle sprain, my brain immediately kicks into Dr. Kavanaugh mode of, all right, that's 4 to 6 weeks where you're going to be seeing Cam Fleming. So what's that going to look like? So that'll be a really big storyline tonight and tomorrow until we have clarity on the exact specification of Tyron Smith's injury.
Now, didn't Xavier Woods have a high ankle sprain? Allegedly.
Okay, so Xavier Woods, I remember how that went down. Someone said high ankle. I don't remember who. It was nothing official from the Cowboys, I don't think.
It might have been Jerry.
But then,
same kind of thing.
Right, so everybody immediately had him out 6 weeks. And then when people from the team heard that, they're like, right, we think he's going to miss a week. So, we don't know with these things, but it didn't look good. Jane Slater, again, from NFL Network, said she saw Tyron on the cart. He didn't look happy. Yeah. So we'll see how that one shakes out. But that goes from bad to worse for the Cowboys to take a loss in a game that was very winnable. If you just play okay offense, you win this football game, and then to potentially lose your all-pro left tackle for a while, that hurts.
To get yourself in field goal range to try to win the game, you have a minute 39, you get the ball at your own 14.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted him to line up from 70.
They had a Hail Mary opportunity at the end.
See if
right, like what's the probability you hit a Hail Mary versus what's the probability you hit from 70 yards?
Both pretty low.
Right,
Both pretty low.
Probably kicking from 70 yards inside that maybe has a higher probability.
They tell me Maher's got a big leg. I was curious.
But, you're right. It's a winnable game. It's a very winnable game. And even despite how bad everything went to get the football back at your own 14 with a minute 39 to go, and an offense that we've seen score quickly, Dak takes a sack on first down. All of a sudden, it was like 2018 all over again.
It
really was.
Yeah.
Dak taking bad sacks, running on first down so consistently, not taking shots downfield. It was just ripped out of the playbook of 2018.
The New Orleans Saints ran the ball at 4.3 a carry, and they passed the ball at 4.3 yards per pass attempt. They were getting 4 yards per play, and that offense was enough to beat you.
What's the NFL average on a yards per play pass? Like 6?
Got to be around 6. Yeah, got to be around 6.
Dak Prescott, momentarily right here on the Dallas Cowboys radio network. We'll hear what Dak Prescott has to say.
Come on, Dak.
Prescott in this game, 22 of 33, 223, and 1 INT. Did not have a touchdown. Zeke Elliott has the lone touchdown of the game. 18 carries for 35 yards for Zeke. A measly average of 1.9 per carry. He did have the lone touchdown, but yeah, 8.
Wow, Zeke. He's
got the podium.
One more time.
Average 1.8 yards per carry.
Between the run game, the pass game, we just couldn't get it going early. We finally got a drive in the second half, but when you're playing in an atmosphere like this, when you're playing a good team and a good defense like that, that's too late. So got to convert on that first scoring drive that we had. Got to make that pass in the back of the end zone to Cobb. We just left a lot of plays out there tonight, and it showed.
Did they show you different coverages from what you saw on tape in previous games?
Maybe a little different from what they've done, but nothing different than what we probably expected them to do to us because of the players that we have, because of the strengths of our offense, knowing that they could do some of the coverage that way. And so it was no surprise, but we just continue to step on our own feet and hurt ourselves in this game.
How do you think you guys handled the atmosphere, just the crowd, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, communication I think was fine, but we didn't make enough plays to take them out of it. And as I said, when you're playing an atmosphere like this and you're playing a good team like that, you have to do that early. We never got that chance, and we never capitalized on it.
On the cop throw, the end zone, how hard because you're on the move.
Right.
How hard is it just to try to get set because you're worried about someone getting after you?
Yeah, I'm not trying to get set there. I'm just trying to make that throw. I've made a million throws like that on the run. That's no different. Got to go look at him, and when it came out, I thought it was great. Just was a little long. I mean, got to go look at it on tape and figure out why that was.
What did they do so well tonight to limit Zeke in your running game?
No change of pace.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a good front. I mean, that's a good defense we're playing, and give them a lot of credit. They came in, they had a great game plan, and they executed it. I mean, I'm sure they look at these stats, and they're going to be proud of what they did, but simply we just didn't execute. We just didn't do what we needed to do. We didn't perform in the passing game, in the run game, as well as we have in these past few weeks, and this will be a great learning experience from us. We're going to take a lot from it.
Jack, as you get to the quarter one of the season, what are some positives that you're going to build on?
Yeah, we've got a great team. There's no confidence lost with this loss. I can promise you that. There's a lot of things that we'll take from this, that we'll learn from. We'll become a better team because of it, and that's the most important thing.
Playing this team last year and having the same outcome basically almost like last year, did you have expectations that it was going to be similar or a different type of game?
One more time.
Like last year was 13-10, y'all won. This year it's 12-10. Were you expecting a similar type of defensive battle, or were you expecting a different?
I mean, I was expecting to win, and knowing this offense, I wasn't expecting to go out there and being held to 10 points. So, no, to answer your question, and I'll give that team credit, that defense credit.
Stop giving them credit, man.
And we just never got going, and we hurt ourselves all night.
Don't give them no credit, man.
Especially the way you guys are going offensively.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising. You have all the talent that we have, the execution that we've been able to put on tape, the communication, a lot of good things from this offense. So to be able to go out there and only be held to 10 points, it's frustrating. But it's hard to make a rational make rational comments right now. But I'm gonna have to go back and look at the tape, as we all will. As I said, I know there's going to be a lot that we can take from it and learn from it.
In that third quarter, you guys were great. You moved the ball down. You hit that long pass to Blake. What did you guys do in that third quarter that you were able to do in the other point of the game at some point?
I mean, got to go look at that on tape. I mean, I'd say we converted some of those third downs, simple as that, and hit a big play. Hit that big play to Blake, as you just said, down the middle, and that put us right down there.
It was open all
between the 5-yard
game.
line, and was able to just run the ball and get it in. So we were just missing out on those big plays that we've had in these first few games. I mean, various things. I mean, it wasn't just one thing I can turn to. I mean, they had a great game plan, as I said. The chess match, their calls that they're making. I mean, when we're calling our shots, sometimes they had the right coverage called there, or we're running the ball and they're blitzing in the right places. So I mean, it was a collective effort on their part, and I give them credit.
Are there things that other teams can take from them, or do you think this was a Saints-specific kind of deal?
I think this was on us.
Yeah.
I think this was on us. I think this was about our lack of execution. Regardless with the way they're doing things, there's a lot of plays left out there on my part, on this whole offense's part.
When you first quarter of the season, are you seeing anything from Zeke, from residuals from the offseason, or how do you think that he's handling his workload for the first quarter of the season?
He's fine. He'll continue to get better, and he'll continue to be the pounder and the strength of his offense.
Appreciate the donation, Grow Donation.
I agree, Law. Why give them credit? Your game was off.
But we just didn't make the plays that we need to make. We had some opportunities and just simply didn't make them. And we still had a chance right there at the end of the game with the ball in our hands with over a minute left, and terrible decision by me in taking that sack. That's rule 101 and 2-minute drive, especially without timeout. So you take that out of it. I mean, we made some plays to get ourselves down there, but as I said, give them credit, give them all the credit. They won this one, and we'll definitely get better because of it. Appreciate it.
It's Dak Prescott on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. Cowboys fall to 3-1. The first quarter of the NFL season ends. Cowboys are 3-1. They lose to the Saints 12-10. Cowboys do not start the season 4-0. You know, it's funny as texts start to flood in. Jeff Kavanaugh, Ari Temkin with you. 877-881-1053. You can call or text that number. And there's just it's funny how when they win and things are good, it's like Kellen Moore is so smart and so great, and now we're getting a lot of like Jason Garrett's the worst. He's not making adjustments.
It's not allowed. Whoever you gave the credit to has to get the blame too. I have been a praiser of Kellen Moore through 3 weeks, which means that in week 4.
Well, this is the thing, Cowboy Nation. Let's still take this thing one day at a time.
If things go well, it's Kellen Moore, and things go bad, it's not Jason Garrett.
You can't do that. No, you have to be consistent. If you want to praise, the criticism goes to the same place.
True.
I would have liked to have seen Kellen Moore handle this offensive game plan a lot differently. If you believe that he has the keys, he is the play caller, and you praised him for 3 weeks, then you get to question him right now.
When it comes time to shop for tailgate favorites, go to Albertsons and Tom Thumb. Get 10% off your groceries every Dallas Cowboys game day. When you
Shameless plug by Albertsons, but shout out to them.
Of the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott just said, on us, our lack of execution. When asked about if it was the Saints defense or just them, said it was on us, our lack of execution. More on that coming up. Plus, again, Jerry Jones said Tyron Smith has a high ankle sprain. We'll take your phone calls, your texts, 877-881-10.
When you as big as Tyron Smith, a high ankle sprain gonna feel like a century. Especially you can't put no weight at all on that leg. It's gonna be kind of bummer for us. It's time for next year to draft another tight end, not tight end, but well, probably still have to draft a tight end. But it's time for us to draft another lineman. Believe it or not, because we can't fool around and depend on this offensive line to stay healthy forever. And, of course, we know that the story of Connor Williams, how that goes. But here's the thing, Cowboy Nation. It seems crazy right now. Everybody want to kick Kellen Moore and beat him down and these sorts of things. I don't know. It just didn't seem like a Kellen Moore's offense today. I don't think that they were prepared. And I know that a lot of Saints fans, I see them saying, who that. You guys get to shine for right now, and shout out to you all for playing and beating us, man. But I cannot look at this game plan and say to myself, what the world was going on, and say to myself that they put every effort into winning. I can't look at it this way. Let's see what the AI have to say. Paul Mills, appreciate it for the donation.
Doc needs to work more on pocket awareness, how to step up instead of the Romo spin.
Pocket awareness. Well, they had a guy, Malcolm Brown, who's a Super Bowl champion too, who played in a good system with what is this, Bill Belichick. Malcolm Brown destroyed the interior, and he created the collapse the pocket, so you really wouldn't know where to step up through. And this guy, Davenport, he played out of his mind. Davenport was just nasty today. And number 94, I believe, Cam played a good game as well. So that whole front four, they did create pressure. I can't lie to kick it with you all. I ain't gonna lie out here, But they created pressure. Let me know when they back open, Cowboy Nation, when 105.3 the fan back on. Let me see. The spot. Let me know when they back on. Zeke fumble, yes, unknown. That was a horrible situation for us. Also the Jason Witten fumble really got me, that momentum, and then they was finally utilizing the field, and then Jason Witten disappeared ever since that fumble. Normally when you get a fumble and stuff like that, you go back and look at yourself and say, okay, all right, I'm going to step it up the next time I get a chance and opportunity, and he didn't. So it looks crazy for us, man, to have that fumble. Those two fumbles really kicked our way. You know what? Yeah. Appreciate you, Alex Jones. Appreciate you, man. Oh, man, I'm doing bad and terrible right now, man. I'm doing bad and terrible. Jason. He said, how are you, man? I'm doing bad and terrible right now. No, I'm just playing with you. It still looks good for us. We 3-1 right now. NFC East, the name of the game is win your division games and also winning your division. So I'm looking at it like this. It has no weight to change in our division, what have you, and we looking pretty good so far. We just got to continue to grind and beat our guys that's in our division and try to figure out how to beat Green Bay next week.
Yeah, it was just the refs were really excited to be a part of the game, I think. They were having a wonderful time being involved.
Hey, fans pay a lot of money to watch referees throw flags.
Love this emphasis on offensive pass interference, where if a DB is kind of jamming you and then you push and it's like, it's a flag on you, sir. Well, hold on, because we're both just jostling here. This is kind of football, but it's really interesting. It's the one, because almost every rule that they choose to enforce is to make sure you get to score more. That one doesn't. So we're going to just need to revisit that one, NFL, the overemphasis on holding in the run game and offensive PI. I thought we wanted points. You got 22 of them tonight.
It's Jeff Kavanaugh. I'm Ari Temkin. Cowboys lose 12-10 to the Saints. They fall to 3-1. Meanwhile, Teddy Bridgewater, who you mentioned this earlier, an average, 4.3 yards per attempt?
Per pass play.
Per pass play.
Because that factors in the sacks, yeah. When they dropped back to pass, New Orleans averaged 4.3 yards per play.
And yet, Teddy Bridgewater, in 2 straight starts, is now 2-0 on the road against Seattle.
He got sacked 5 times.
Wow.
4.3 yards per pass play. Kamara ran for 69 yards. Michael Thomas didn't go for 100 yards. They didn't do anything offensively.
Yeah, their
but 12
defense,
points was enough to beat the Cowboys tonight.
2 straight years, their defense has absolutely dominated a very, very good offensive attack. Obviously, Drew Brees last year, but Teddy Bridgewater this year. But Bridgewater is 2-0 against the Seahawks in Seattle and now in the Dallas Cowboys, amazingly.
And it's a defense in New Orleans that through 3 weeks, they've been getting shredded through the air.
Shredded.
Which it just makes it all the more confusing to me what the Cowboys' plan was coming in.
This is the craziest thing. I had to turn them down for a quick second. We didn't attempt. It's going to when we go pull up the all 22 film. I'm going to show you all that we didn't attempt to go down the field.
Just chose to dial it back. And I don't know, is that maybe thinking that you're protecting your quarterback from the environment by not risking the ball?
Or a pass rush that had 9 sacks in 3 games.
Yeah.
It is the very passive approach that we had kind of defined the Cowboys under Jason Garrett recently.
We attack success and we don't fear failure, Ari Temkin. That's my new offensive philosophy, stolen from Sean McVay, I believe, a year ago. We attack success, we don't fear failure, and that is not what the Cowboys' motto was tonight.
Academy Sports and Outdoors, a store with top brands like Adidas, Shimano, Rawlings, Columbia, all at guaranteed low prices like you've never seen. Visit us in-store or at academy.com. 877-881-1053. 877-881-1053. Ashton is calling in from Dallas. Go ahead, Ashton. You're on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Yeah, hey, guys. I just wanted to touch on a few things. First, Robert Quinn is really, really good. Yeah. Second off, what was, the game plan tonight? Because it just felt like very 2018 to me, and it felt like Linehan subbed in for Kellen Moore tonight. I didn't get the game plan at all. Thank you.
Appreciate the phone call, Ashton, 877-881-1053.
I think we have 2 people in studio that agree with you. I'm not sure
right now.
How, in getting ready for this football game, that's the plan they came up with and thought it was the best chance to win. If I'm the Cowboys and I've had the first 3 weeks that I've had and Dak has played at an MVP level and now everybody's talking about, is he going to get $1 billion? How many dollars is Dak going to get? I'm not afraid to come trade possessions with Teddy Bridgewater and the New Orleans Saints.
Right.
But they came out like they thought that a mistake would be the thing that would beat them. And then they had mistakes. The miss to Randall Cobb in the end zone, and then Randall Cobb also had a drop on a ball that was a little bit behind him on a 3rd down. You fumble the ball twice. If I'm the Cowboys, I would want to come into this game and say, hey, if we have mistakes, I want you to have mistakes. Let's have ourselves an offensive shootout here.
Yeah.
Let's play.
Let's
the
play.
Cowboys,
once
again, 4 straight games now have scored on the first possession coming out of halftime. An 11-play drive, Kavanaugh, that had 1 third down that they faced that entire drive. The Cowboys were, I believe, 4 of 11 on 3rd down. The Cowboys were 4 of 11 on 3rd down. And
that's helped by a couple in desperation time.
Right.
Where they don't mind that you convert, really.
Right. But the season so far this year is avoiding 3rd downs.
Yeah.
They've been good converting, but they haven't had a lot of 3rd downs. The one drive they had the most success, they scored their first touchdown on that drive. 11 plays, only 1 3rd down faced. They threw the ball a ton on that drive on 1st down.
That's the goal. The goal is
throw
to
the ball
not
on
get to
1st down.
3rd down, and if you do, to get to 3rd and very, very short. Every time that you end up with a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, that's an offensive failure on your first 2 plays, and yet they continued to call the plays that would lead them to that spot. I don't know how many times you need to hand the ball off on 1st down and realize that you're facing 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11, 2nd and 9, to realize we're not putting ourselves in a great spot here. going into second down, which goes into third down. I didn't get it. I don't understand it, and you shouldn't do that. That's my fear of the highly paid running back, is I think sometimes that pressures you to, I want to give him the ball. He's a great player. And Ezekiel Elliott is a great player. That doesn't make it a good plan to hand it to him on 1st and 10 all the time. No matter how.
Boy, he's speaking the gospel, man. You guys, I hope you went to church today. If you're not, man.
Chip, you're on the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
He preaching now.
I'll take 3-1, but the bottom line tonight is exactly what you're talking about. This looked like the stale old Lanahan offense, and you got to give this offensive line an F tonight. They got dominated tonight. I mean, we had no running lanes. Yeah. Dak had one read, and if you tried to scan the field, they were in his face. I mean, to me, that was the problem tonight. We got no push off our offensive line, and the pass blocking was terrible.
I disagree. I mean, I think the run blocking was bad. The pass blocking was good. It
was good. They did it in
the Saints, their strength is on their defensive front. They have had 9 sacks in 3 games.
And for 59 minutes, they had no sacks against the Cowboys.
Right. So I think Dak made some really tough throws under pressure. He escaped the pocket a couple of times, but it was the stuff that we've been seeing all year in terms of pre-snap motion, RPO, taking shots down the field, things that have almost become buzzwords. Like I hate to beleaguer the same point because it's obvious and right there, but it just seemed like the 2018 Dallas Cowboys to a T. And like down to Dak taking a bad sack in that final drive where you thought the Cowboys might, despite playing so poorly.
I didn't think about that. That is also very 2018, isn't it? It was the whole thing. I think against a defensive line with Cam Jordan and Marcus Davenport coming into his own now, I think against that unit, to have held them to 0 sacks for almost 60 minutes, you did a good enough job pass blocking for sure. Yes. Dak did have a degree of difficulty on some throws. He had to move around some. He was pressured some. But I think all in all, you protected him pretty well. I think that they did a pretty good job protecting. They didn't open holes in the run game. The running back didn't make anything happen on his own. They just didn't have a lot of opportunities in the run game. They had a decent enough pocket to throw the ball better than they did, for sure.
And Zach Strief, the play-by-play man of the Saints, told us before the game, the Saints, they have 53. They're getting 53% pressure on 53% of dropbacks.
I don't think they got pressure on 53% tonight. I don't think they did. I wonder, Ari, is Amari Cooper physically okay? You know, he was hobbled during practice this week, limited a lot, and then you take away Michael Gallup, and I wonder how much of that might have factored into a less potent offensive attack. Because did you really hear Devin Smith's name tonight? Dude. Randall Cobb had a couple of catches. Amari Cooper had a handful of catches. And
the tight ends got open a little bit.
Right.
You're right.
But you didn't have anything where you felt like these Saints cornerbacks are overmatched. And it had felt like that in previous Saints games this year, where it was they can't really hold down this offensive attack of fill in the blank.
Marshawn Lattimore was having a bad year, and he dominated Amari Cooper. So either Cooper is not healthy, or Marshawn Lattimore decided to play more like the Marshawn Lattimore that we've seen throughout the course of his career.
And Eli Apple on the other side is a guy that you can go at. If you have a receiver that you believe in, you'll go at Eli Apple. And I never noticed him in coverage getting beat. They didn't do a lot in the passing game that I feel like they should have been able to.
Tavon Austin had 1 catch for 5 yards. Randall Cobb 3 for 41. Cooper 5 for 48. And Zeke 6 for 30. Zeke was the most targeted receiver in this game.
That's a problem.
It is a problem.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Zeke is an incredible football player, and he's a great running back. But he was the most targeted guy as a check down guy. And that's not the way that you draw up getting the ball to your running back in the passing game is, well, nothing else was open, so we dumped it to you for a yard and hoped you could go find 15. That's not, I promise you, they did not design the game plan to target Zeke the most with dump-offs. That was not the game plan.
2018 Cowboys. 2018 Cowboys. Cowboys lose 12-10. They fall to 3-1. How much do we take away? We see 4 games. You can judge. I always judge NFL teams based on quarters. Happens in 1 game, it can be an anomaly, but it happens in 4 games. It's consistent. It's a pattern. So is the 3-game pattern enough to skew us, or is this 1 game enough for us to think that in the back of our minds that this offense still exists despite what we saw and what we were excited to see after 3 weeks this season? More on this coming up. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Yes, you let me know when they back live. Hey, that was crazy, Cowboy Nation. When we look back at that game, we look back at everything from A to Z. They didn't attack the middle of the field like we thought they were. And then on top of that, the Jason Witten fumble was very crucial. But the alarming thing was Ezekiel Elliott. You know, we had 8 and 9 men front, and we continued to try to battle ram the ball right in between that. And averaging 1.8 yards, was that the number? 1.8 yards. Can somebody put into the definition in the chat? Change of pace running back, you see. And it's not the fact that the change of pace running back is a person that's going to cement things and you will look at him as a starter. But I'm thinking that with my natural eyes and my understanding of football, you put the change of pace running back in because teams got different scouting tape on that particular said running back. Teams got different philosophies on how they're going to attack and squeeze that running back or hit the running back. And then on top of that, it's the element of surprise. So explain to me, Cowboy Nation, and some of the Saints fans is in the chat box, explain to me why the Cowboys didn't do a change of pace. Because I'm looking at Latavius Murray, who pretty much had a pedestrian day, but they was looking at it like, hey, what we're going to do is, if Kamara is our future back, we're not going to just give the ball to Kamara each and every time. What we want to do is get the Dallas Cowboys off kilter, meaning that we're going to put it in a physical running back like a Latavius Murray. I hope I'm saying the man's name right. And what we're going to do, as soon as you put in all of your scouting resources on him, we give you back number 41. But in return, what that does collectively is that does keep your running back fresh. So when they're getting out there, it's not about the collective yards that he's getting, but it's about the total sum. If I'm speaking correctly, that total sum would be, hey, this guy's fresher. Instead of him being used up and getting 3 yards, now he's getting 7 yards, you see. Or now he's getting 8, you see. Or now he's getting 4. And then what that does, now I can bring in Latavius Murray to give us another 3. Demario Davis, shout out to you, J.J. Dixon. Yeah, Demario Davis, number 56, flew out to the ball and was able to field pretty well as well out there on the field. So he did a great job of doing that. They played safe. Yeah, I would have at least, just off of strength, I would have at least put in a Tony Pollard just to give us a change of pace, just to see whether or not Ezekiel Elliott needs a breather. Hell, I would have even ran Jamez Olawale in for a slam run or something like that. Let me know how you guys feel. Vander Esch showed up today. Yes, he was able to field pretty well, and he also got some crucial tackles, as well as Jalen Smith. He did a great job today, you know. Scotty Day says, who that, we that. Yeah, shout out to you all for winning and beating my Cowboys, making me feel miserable for right now. Yes, indeed. It was an overall bad game for the Cowboys. Can't blame the defense for the loss. Offense just offense got to put money on the board. No screen plays as well. Yeah, I agree. I'm thinking that they didn't worry about what the media says about their quarterback. They said all we got to do is win this game. And I'm thinking that, hey, with Teddy Bridgewater, they did what can give them the chance to win the game. They didn't worry about being called dink and dunk Teddy Bridgewater. They were only worried about winning the game. I don't like for the play for stats. They play for, hey, if it's a 4 or 5 yard screen pass, we're going to do that. If it's a rollout, because did you guys see Dak Prescott roll out on any plays? Let me know. He could at least ran or did a rollout play for Dak.
Their first interception of the season. Didn't know that was possible, but they intercepted a football, but lost the turnover battle. They were -2. They ended up. It was the last interception by Dak Prescott on the Hail Mary count. So they had three turnovers, 2 fumbles, one from Jason Witten, 9th in his career, and 1 from Zeke Elliott, and then, of course, the interception late from Dak Prescott. Weird game. Cowboys offense stalled and looked like it did in 2018. That's it.
If we're allowed to, you tell me if we're allowed to. Are we allowed to talk about a positive after you don't win the football game?
Of course.
What was the
Robert
positive?
Quinn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Robert Quinn.
That appears to be the fact that you got Robert Quinn for a 6th-round pick, and what he's done for the Cowboys so far. They do have a consistent pass rush threat across from Tank Lawrence that we hadn't seen, and that this team is going to need. So ultimately, seeing Robert Quinn, not only he had 2 sacks, and not just that, he also drew a couple of penalties, One of them, I believe, nullified a big play for the Saints.
He batted a pass out.
He
last
batted
scrimmage.
a pass
He had
down.
a third sack that was taken off the board by Amari Cooper or by a defensive holding penalty.
They've got a legitimate 3 guys on that defensive line that as an offensive line you're going to have to worry about. Between Malik Collins, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Robert Quinn, you've got 3 guys that an offensive line is going to have to worry about. And I'll also go to this because I've been critical of his play through 3 weeks. Jalen Smith as a pass rusher, when they put him in position to do what he does best, he had a huge play for this team. He had another tackle for loss for this team. When he's playing downhill, kind of straight line and power football, Jalen Smith kind of jumped off the screen a little bit on some of those plays. So there were some real positives to take away from this team defensively, but ultimately the other side of the ball, I saw an Ezekiel Elliott quote, so I'm just sharing their own thoughts, which I totally agree with. The offense didn't do enough and let this team's defense down in a game that they should have helped them in and should have won.
Yeah. I mean, and it's funny because 3 weeks we come to the post game and it's, man, this offense is great. It's fantastic. Where's that pass rush? Why isn't this pass rush better? And this week they play a really good football team and it's the exact opposite. What is this offense? But the pass rush played well.
There is a lesson to be learned here, Ari. You're not allowed to be great at everything and you don't always get to win. So this is going to be a Cowboys loss that I'll look at as a game and say, man, I really feel like if you could replan, line back up, and replay, you win that football game. This team should beat that football team, but they didn't, and you don't get to go 16-0.
And one of the worst parts about this game beyond the loss is Tyron Smith, who was lost on the first play from scrimmage with 1:39 left. Cowboys down 2 with the ball at their own 14-yard line.
that.
Dak took an 11-yard sack, and Tyron Smith limped off the field. Jerry Jones told reporters after the game it's a high ankle sprain, and he left the stadium in a walking boot.
Wow.
So that's
Early
obviously
return,
very
scary.
tough.
Yeah, that's a scary early return, and it's one of those things where throughout training camp and early in the season, one of the things that we've talked about and I've talked about a lot is that I think this is the deepest roster that the Cowboys have had probably since Super Bowls. Probably their best and deepest all-around roster that they've had since they were winning Lombardis. And now you're going to test that. It's easy to say when people are healthy that they're super deep. Then Tyron Smith leaves the field and Dak's getting pressured from the backside on back-to-back plays. And you go, okay, we said that Cam Fleming is quality depth. We're going to find out in a hurry. And you feel great about depth until you have to see if you really have it. And we're going to find out if they really have it.
Trying to find tickets to football games or any other live event can be complicated. There's hundreds of sites and shady pricing. With SeatGeek, you can do everything in one place. Search and discover the best deals on seats. Buy from any device and sell and transfer tickets in just a couple of taps. Best of all, listeners will get $20 off their...
Yes, and also check out Cowboys Experience. Just go to www.cowboysexperience.com to find the greatest and the latest tickets pricing for any game. And we will have a live event this weekend on Saturday for the Green Bay Packers game. We'll be live like 95 at the Lava Cantina. Yeah.
Thank you, Tom. All right, let's try Keaton in Corpus Christi. Go ahead, Keaton. You're on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Yeah, my name's Pete.
All right.
Not Keaton.
Get it right,
I was calling
baby.
just because if you saw how we got gashed in the run game, I
did
wonder
okay
if that
against
has
the
something to do with us not taking a higher priority in getting a quality one tech.
Appreciate the phone call, Pete.
So I think that one's actually really interesting because the Cowboys have not invested resources in a nose tackle, right? You got two defensive tackles. Malik Collins is a 3 technique. You're under tackle. So is Tristan Hill, who they used a second-round pick on. They will invest in one of those spots and not in the other, and it might have hurt you. This is a name that maybe you don't think a lot about. Antoine Woods is hurt and didn't play in this game. He's really the one kind of nose tackle that they have on this team. So Christian Covington is having to play a bunch of snaps, and then you've got to play other guys who aren't really nose tackles on that defensive line, and I think that can hurt you. Now, ultimately, they didn't do a terrible job against the run.
17 carries, 69 yards for Kamara.
So ultimately, they didn't do a really bad job on a drive where you really wanted to be able to stop them and get off the field. They were able to continue to run it and get first downs, and that's tough. And I think missing Antoine Woods is probably a part of that. That is one of the positions where they have decided as a team that, hey, you have So many resources. Where are we going to put them? Nose tackle has not been one of them for them.
Well, and that's
Cowboys would never under Rob Marinelli's system get a nose tackle. They would never, unless he gone, they won't do it. They love the guy that can shoot the gaps, one gap system, the under tackle /3. That's what they go with, and we can say we want a trash can full of dirt, but they're not going to do that. Let's just be real about it. And then where we picking up in the draft. Normally we pick around 25, 26, 27. We're not going to get a legitimate defensive tackle, nose tackle guy. Only way you can do it unless you go out there and pick up a guy that's a veteran guy. And we don't do that. Like the Dominican Sues of the worlds and the Jared McCoys, we're not going to do that.
Block and make an impact play in the run game. And Van Der Esch did it. Shortly after I'd said on social, that's what I need. And Leighton Van Der Esch went and did it. What can make that easier is if it's not easy for offensive linemen to get past your defensive line and cut off your linebackers. What can help you there? Huge people, a giant defensive tackle. I do think that's one of the spots, and there'll be a few of them, but that's something that you'll deal with probably at the end of the year when you start talking about what does this team need. A big body to fight in the trenches? Sure, that's one of them.
Jeff Kavanaugh, Ari Temkin, Dallas Cowboys postgame show. Cowboys lose. They fall to 3-1. They lose on the road 12-10. And we're hearing your thoughts on it at 877-881-1053. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Most of us are busy. Most are just trying.
Yeah, let me know when they back up live, Cowboy Nation. How you guys feeling? Are you guys still mad about it? I understand we lost by 2 points. I know that we mad and we all upset about it. But if you look back at the game, you can say to yourself, man, come on now. Bring Tony Pollard in, do something, passing the ball vertically down the field as it relates to the interior of the field, and try to get somebody else open outside of Amari Cooper. This game is going to go down in the books that the New Orleans Saints are the steel curtains. They're going to be the best defense they've ever seen in the world, you see. But I'm thinking that what we did was shot ourselves in the foot, and we didn't utilize the full gambit of plays that we have. And it's just the reality of it. I wish that we can go back and rewind, but this looks like we rewinded all the way back to 2018. And it just looked horrible for us right now. This season is long. Shout out to the Fly Eagles Fly. I've seen some people in the chat box with Fly Eagles Fly. But they still looking up, though. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to the nation, though. You're still looking up, which is crazy for you guys to be on this show tonight. But I really appreciate you all, regardless of the situation. Where was a winnable game? Yes, Devon. It was very winnable. It was. Marshall, we lost because of the BS fumble. I mean, you can look back at it and say to yourself, man, the elbow was already down. But they talking about it's not enough evidence to overturn it and these sorts of things. But I'm looking at it with my glasses and my eyes and with the Cowboy vision and also with the Saints vision. You can see that the elbow was down. But I said it's according to how Roger Goodell's feel. And I said before the game, you got to beat out two teams. You got to beat out Roger Goodell and you got to beat out the Saints. You got to beat two teams. Yes, indeed. Jet D, he says, Law, I'm checking out. Appreciate you, man. Yes, appreciate you, man. Really appreciate you, man. Continue to check us out. All right. He says, S. Dawson says play calling with the big question mark. Yeah. Play calling was really crazy. The crucial part was Jason Witten fumbling the ball. Yes, Devon, that was very crucial. We lost the game. Tyron Smith could be injured seriously. Yes, I agree. And especially, I don't know whether or not Jerry Jones can diagnose the injury and say it's a high ankle sprain, but it could be like, hey, just throwing charm out there to see who all is going to bite for it. But if I'm the Packers, I'm looking at it like, thank God that he's not playing out there today, next weekend, regardless, because the Packers defense is nobody to sneeze at too as it relates to their defensive pass rush. So they're looking at it like, man, it's an opportunity for us to go out there and look at this New Orleans Saints tape and see if we can replicate. But we'll see how this team can fold back.
For the right energy.
A lot of people saying play calling. Yeah, it's crucial when we not doing the things that we need to do, like executing. It's very crucial. Yes. Jay Ajayi, this is from Nick Martin. He's out there, but I wouldn't panic that quick and get Jay Ajayi into this Dallas Cowboys system when you had Tony Pollard and you didn't utilize him. You got Tony Pollard just sitting there looking like, man, my jersey, I should have just kept that. I could have just stayed in Dallas if that's everything, you see. I thought you was on the back foot of him. Awuzie gave away that penalty. Yeah. Awuzie, man, it's crazy. It's crazy with Awuzie plays up and down.
Baker.
It's crazy altogether, Cowboy Nation. Jerry D got out schemed today. Yeah, you can look at it in those factions. Yeah. We got to give Dak. Who's this? What it we say? Got to give Dak more time. I think he had plenty of time. I think he had plenty of time to throw the ball. I'm thinking that why they didn't utilize the other side of the field. He was 22 for 33, 223 yards, and no touchdowns with an 88.4 rating. That's what his overall rating was. It wasn't enough.
Life's ups and downs.
It wasn't enough. A lot of people are saying play calling was horrible. So, do you base this season just off of this one game, or do you base this season off of multiple games? Or do you look at it from this fashion here and say, okay, the Cowboys lost, the season is over with, we can't beat a team that's a formidable team? Is it like that you look back at this game and you say, well, the Saints dominated completely? Or do you look at this game and say, well, it's a 50-50? You know, if the stars of the game don't fumble the ball, if we don't fumble the ball like Zeke Elliott fumbled the ball, and also like my guy Jason Witten fumbled the ball, we had a better opportunity to win the game. Now, one can argue the fact that it wasn't a fumble, but you know what I'm saying, right? We need Gallup. This is from David Perez. We just need some other guys to step it up. We do.
Moment. Dallas Cowboys postgame show brought to you by Susan G. Komen. Learn how the Dallas Cowboys and Susan G. Komen are fighting to end breast cancer. Visit Komen.org/IPromise. Cowboys lose 12-10, and it's a frustrating loss for a team that had looked so good, Super Bowl caliber, for the first 3 weeks of the season. And so much of it was, I don't care that they're playing bad teams. It's the way that they're playing offensively. It's the schematics. It's the aggressiveness for which Dak Prescott is playing. Like, there was so much optimism 3 weeks into the season, despite not playing great teams. And it just feels like one loss like this can completely undo optimism for this offense. And I don't, like, they're still 3-1. This is a tough loss, and these losses are bad, but, like, losing division games are way worse. This team is clearly the best team in the division, I think, through 4 weeks. So it's like, how much do we react to this bad offensive performance when what we've seen through 3/4 of this season so far tells us a vastly different story?
So I'm just alarmed by the way that they approached this game, because we've been talking about it just from the eyeball test, how it doesn't look like the things they did the first 3 weeks. Well, I'm starting to get some numbers filter in here from Pro Football Focus. The Cowboys have been leading the league in play action rate, or they were second, in the league in play action rate.
I want to hear this.
About 40% of their pass plays have been play action this year, and Dak's numbers on it has been absurd. He's been incredible at it.
And for context, they were 20% last year?
Yeah. And so last year, I believe the Rams led the league at 36%. Yes. And now people are doing it more and more because it works really well. For the Cowboys, they'd been about as good as it gets in the league and done it about as much as anybody in the league. This week, much like everything else that they've had great success with,
come on,
they went away from it. The Cowboys in this game, they did play action on 7 of their 35 dropbacks, so 20%. So they went away from something they've been great at.
Right.
Again,
and it's
in this game,
to be good.
Right.
And even in this game where they did it very little, Dak Prescott, 6 of 7 for 65 yards. So you're getting over 9 yards per attempt. You're completing passes pretty much every time you do it, and yet they went away from it. This is not the same offense that they ran weeks 1 through 3.
Right.
And they have a loss on their record because they did something differently. Whether it was taking an opponent too lightly and trying to skew the numbers, whatever it was, they did not run the offense they ran in weeks 1 through 3, and therefore they weren't successful because they went away from things that worked. Everything they had been doing, pre-snap motion, play action, shifting, all these things that they had been doing, they went away from. And I don't know if it's because you feared not being able to communicate in the dome, if there's some degree of difficulty somewhere there, but whatever it was, they went away from a lot of things that have worked. and now they have an L because of it.
And much of the locker room has been, it's not that we did anything different. It's the same stuff we've been doing. We just have been executing, including here was Zeke Elliott, who had 18 carries for 35 yards, 1.9 per carry. Here is Zeke Elliott after the game, taking up their own Mike Fisher.
Let me see.
Disappointed. I mean, we didn't really come out and play winning football at all. So, I mean, the defense, they did a great job of doing their job, and on the offensive side, we let them down.
Zeke, can you describe what happened on the fumble, which is such a rarity for you and you guys?
I just coughed it up. Just took it from me. I mean, it's not acceptable. This team relies on me in moments like that, 4th and 1. I just can't. I can't let the team down like that.
Is it fair to say this game plan was a little more conservative than it's been for a month?
I wouldn't say it was more
Did
conservative.
Garrett take over play calling for the second half? That didn't seem like a more playing
all year, and we just didn't go out there and execute.
The 1.9 per carry on 18 carries for Zeke. Worst average yards per carry of his career, or second worst, I beg your pardon. The worst was the Week 2 game against Denver, his second year in the league, if you remember, where everybody criticized him for not following up on a tackle or interception or something at the end of the game.
I think it was an interception and he didn't go sprint.
Yeah, he was less than 1 yard per carry in that game against the Broncos, 1.9 tonight. But I don't buy it, Kavanaugh. I mean, we're seeing tweets from other players saying the same thing. We just didn't execute tonight. We just didn't execute.
That's what they're supposed to say.
They didn't scheme.
You're a 3-1 football team, so your vibe in your locker room is still.
Let me stop them. They didn't scheme. There's no dealing with execution. They did not scheme. For sure. We sat there and watched the game. Ain't that right, Perry Campbell? Shout out to you, man. He said, who that? Just rub it all in for me. But they did not scheme at all. They sat back and said, okay, we're going to take out the zone read options. We're not going to put the pre-snap motion out there. And we're not even going to put Tony Pollard out there on the field. Are you guys – look, I've been watching this thing. We've been live like 95 for 3 hours, right? And then this is 4 hours right here. This is going on 5-hour stream, and we sat there and watched the game. They did not scheme. I don't want to hear nothing about this execution crap. Don't give me that PC talk. I need somebody to get up there and say, hey, we didn't play our style of offense at all. The defense showed up. If I'm the defense right now, I'm going into the offensive side of the locker room and saying, what happened to you all? We gave you the ball of turnovers. We forced the punt. We forced 3 and outs. Why didn't y'all execute and scheme the way you was doing the first few weeks? Come on. I can't make this stuff up.
Somewhere in the 20s on points. To not be able to do that, to me, it ties directly back to the decisions you made from a play calling and schematic perspective. That's where you're going to lay this loss. That's where the blame lays.
877-881-1053. Drew is calling in from Rockwall.
Drew,
go ahead, Drew. You're on the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Jeff, Ari, what's up?
What's going on?
Hey, all right, so, Jeff, you just made that point. So, did you take the under or did you bet the over?
I predicted the under, but I'm not a gambling man when it comes to over-unders, but I'll offer an opinion. But I did say the under, yes. I called it 27-17, which would have been 2 points under.
All right. Well, aside from that, aside from the play calling and everything, I just wanted to point out that I thought, regardless of the play calling, Dak was pretty much pinpoint on every single one of his dropbacks.
Appreciate the phone call, Drew.
He missed a touchdown pass.
Yes, to Randall Cobb.
It wasn't a drop back. He was
throw to
pressured and he
Cobb that was
rolled out.
incomplete on a third down wasn't a perfect throw. Randall Cobb would tell you, and I think any receiver would tell you, that's a drop. That's got to be a catch. But I don't think Dak performed poorly. I think the situations that he was put in were not as good as they'd been the first 3 weeks. And that's one of those things where I hate to go full Jason Garrett on you, but there will be a time when the all-22 film is available and you can look at what was Dak seeing, where there are opportunities down the field that were missed. But just from watching him throw the football and who he did throw to and what we can see on the TV broadcast, I don't think Dak had a bad game. He missed a touchdown where Randall Cobb had a lot of room for you to make a mistake on that throw and it still be a touchdown, and he missed the way that you couldn't miss. But outside of that, Dak played all right.
Yeah. No,
he didn't jump out as having a bad game to me.
And I mean, he made some really nice throws. There was one third down where he escaped pressure out of the pocket and ran for a first down. There was a a second down pass play that he
Yeah, that was a
converted
good play.
to Jason Witten with Cam Jordan bearing. I mean, he took a licking from,
That was a
from
great
Cam
throw.
Jordan after.
Great throw.
So, I mean, those are some big time throws that Dak
was a big time
made.
throw, yeah.
And it's funny because last year we look at this team and we're like, it's bad offense, but Dak Prescott's not the guy. And then a similar sort of game plan here gives us that, no. The game plan does matter. Put your quarterback in a better situation to be more successful by camouflaging and doing what your defense is doing. And maybe there was a reluctance on the part of Kellen Moore with the crowd noise that they wouldn't be able to get all their checks they've been accustomed to getting.
Don't give me
now,
that.
Dak
Don't
was still
give me
active in
that.
terms of changing the play at the line of scrimmage. So I don't know how much truth there is in that. It just again is so confounding when the offense that we've seen for this team through 3 weeks has looked Super Bowl caliber, and the one that we saw tonight looked exactly like what we saw with Scott Linehan. It was exactly the fear that we had before the season. It was like, I don't know, Kellen Moore, he comes from Scott Linehan. What's going on there?
We're finding out in the NFL that, especially now that some of the best quarterbacks in the league are in their 40s or recently departed, and there's going to be a new crop of who's the best quarterback in football, right? And out of these young guys, you have Mahomes. Now, after that, it's like all of these guys fluctuate. Jared Goff was somewhere near the top for a while. Carson Wentz was going to be the MVP before he got hurt. Dak Prescott through 3 weeks. There's no doubt he's in that group. Baker Mayfield, the last half of last year, he's in that group. So much of it comes down to all of them have the ability. They all do. Dak, there's now no doubt in my mind, and I was a Dak doubter for a long time. There's no doubt in my mind he has the ability to be a great quarterback. So do all those guys. Now, who's going to be put in the best position with the players around them? Dak's line, receivers, running back. Who's going to be in the best position with the guys around you? And then who's calling the plays and what are you doing? And are you playing to my strengths? And all of these different things are becoming super, super important in the NFL. And it's becoming more important every year.
Jeff
And
Kavanaugh.
for 3 weeks, we thought we had the newest genius. And now for 1 week, we're going to be asking ourselves, are we sure?
Oh, my
I
goodness.
don't like it. I liked it better when we had a genius.
He pulled off the mask and revealed it's been Scott Linehan all along.
Dang
Jeff Kavanaugh, Ari Tepkin. Cowboys lose 12-10. They fall to 3-1. Taking your thoughts and phone calls at 877-881-1053. Plus more sound from the locker room after this loss. Mickey Spagnola joins us next.
my
We'll get the
goodness, I
latest
can't
on
wait
Tyron
to hear
Smith.
Mickey.
Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Y'all let me know when Mickey Spags get on, man. I can't wait to hear what he's going to say. But here's the thing. We shot ourselves in the foot. I got to talk about scheme. Somebody let me know when they're back live. Man, boy, we shot ourselves in the foot. I got to go back to the scheme. Straight scheming. Yeah, y'all know that. Yes. Huh? we are it's not being outcoached. It's not being crowd noise. I don't want to hear that crazy foolishness, crowd noises and things like that. Oh my goodness. And I don't want to hear the thoughts of us looking back at this and saying to ourselves, we just couldn't trust Tony Pollard. When you go look at Ezekiel Elliott, I love Ezekiel Elliott. I hate to put this out there, but 18 carries for 35 yards, averaging 1.8 yards per carry. If anything, all you had to do was say, hey, third quarter, Zeke, you can go to Ezekiel Elliott and say, hey, Zeke, man, let me holler at you right quick. We want you to be fresh towards the fourth quarter. So we're going to put in the young phenom Tony right now. We want to see if he can carry the rock, see if he can run in between the splits and the tackles and these sorts of things. And we're going to give you a breather so you can be healthier or faster during the latter part of the fourth quarter. Or, God dog it me, you could have did the exact same conversation for the nation in the second quarter. You could have. You could have said, hey, Zeke, come holler. Let me holler at you right quick. Let me talk to you right quick. After that fumble would have been a crucial time for the coaching to get into the Ezekiel Elliott mental and say, hey, We can't have that out there. That would have been a good time because saying, hey, we paid you $103 million to play football, not basketball. This is not a basketball trial right now. We're not finna bounce the ball on the ground. Although it wasn't 100% Ezekiel Elliott's fault, although he owned it during the press conference, what have you. But what I'm saying is that would have been a good time to squeeze and put Tony Pollard in, have this multiple situation going on. I'm just saying. We wanted to see Tony do something, huh? Let's see what they back.
Chunky chicken noodle.
All right, so and then this is another thing. I have to go back to this right quick. The Buffalo Bills versus I know this is a whole different subject right now. The Buffalo Bills versus the Patriots. The game was similar. The only difference were that the Patriots were able to get the opportunities of catching the ball, getting turnovers and things like that. But you can see that the Buffalo Bills were still able to push the ball down the field and get things going for them. But turnovers causes them to lose the game. And, of course, they got their quarterback knocked out, you see. Similar game. These teams, it's any given Sunday. So we up against something, Cowboy Nation.
More sizzle.
O-line got exposed. I don't think so. I think that the scheme, we got to go back to the scheme. There was like what boy said, piss poor, Dawson. It was piss poor performance because you know for sure how many. Put it like this, Cowboy Nation. Help me out. Remove the cowboy goggles from my eyes. When have Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott ever got stopped on an RPO? I'll wait. Just let me know. Just pull back the game. When Dak Prescott actually keeps the ball, when did they ever stop that play? I just want to know. Mickey's on right now. Let me see what Mickey talking about.
Let K-Post take care of
Mickey not on yet. Y'all let me know. Davey and James said Mickey a bomb. Come on, man. Leave Uncle Mickey alone. Leave Mickey Spags alone. Cowboys overrated. This game day was overrated. Tremendous.
69110
Zeke,
the official roofing and waterproofing company of the Dallas Cowboys.
The game plan was running up the middle with Zeke. Look, this is what I would have done.
We pride ourselves in our.
The few times that they try to run that ball up the middle and they wasn't getting anywhere, I would have just said, you know what? I'm gonna bounce this thing to the outside or something. Give me some sweeps. Give me some tosses, sweeps, or something like that. But the interior, man, you couldn't run it nowhere. And shout out to Demario Davis, number 56. Boy, flying out to the ball like no other. 35 yards. That's what all he got. Yes. The best way to beat aggressive aggressive defenses. Yes, Paul. You 1,000,000% right. We didn't motion Cooper into the slot. Telling the truth right there. You're telling the truth right there. Let's see what they're going to do, man. Yeah. Thank you for the donation, Paul. Appreciate you. My AI is slow.
This year, they lose 12-10. And yes, it was that ugly. Along with Jeff Kavanaugh, I am Ari Temkin. 877-881-1053. That's the number you can call or text to get in on the postgame show, 877-881-1053. That, by the way, is your drive of the game brought to you by Ford. Ford is the best in Texas. The lone touchdown drive of the game, Kavanaugh for the Cowboys in this one. The lone touchdown of the game for either team in this one. 11 plays, 84 yards, 5 minutes, 44 seconds. It was more of the good stuff from the Cowboys offense. They threw the ball more consistently at first down, only faced 1 third down the entire 11-play drive. And that's, Dan Orlovsky tweeted the Cowboys were not nearly as good on third down this week. Well, I would argue that it wasn't that their lack of converting on third down, it was that they faced too many third downs.
Yeah, and long versions of it, and for a reason. Here's the numbers from Warren Sharp. You ready for this? Cowboys on first down in this game, 11 times they ran it for 1.9 yards per carry. 8 times they threw it for 7.3 yards per attempt.
Read that again, please.
When they ran the ball on first down, they got less than 2 yards a carry. When they threw it, they got over 7 yards per attempt.
And they ran it 11 times.
And they ran it more than
8.
they threw it. In the first half only, they ran it 7 times on first down for 2.1 yards per carry. They threw it 3 times for just under 7 yards per attempt. They know the formula. They know this stuff. The Cowboys have an analytic department. Kellen Moore is one of us. He knows this stuff. I have no idea. It's a giant mystery to me why they went away from so many things that have been working for 3 weeks now. I don't get it.
It's the mystery.
I don't get it. 70% run on first down in the first half.
At less than 2
At
yards.
less than 2 yards a carry.
So you're
Wow,
always in
that's
second and 9,
horrible.
which is an obvious passing down.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to tee up a really good pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
Probably why you're not taking as many shots down the field because you're worried about the pass rush.
And I do think some coaches would view that as, if you're moving forward, like, well, I'm going to set my quarterback up for third and manageable in a hostile environment. It'd be a lot more manageable if it was 2nd and 3.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Which the Cowboys had on that, that
The
11
one where
play.
they scored.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
That 2nd and 1 run to Zeke that got the first down, and then another pass play. And yeah, it's weird. It's really weird how this team last year went against the grain when it came to some of these analytical things that are becoming more and more legitimate in terms of the NFL and the way success and failure is gauged. You looked at the analytics on first down success rate and on and on and on. The Cowboys went completely against what you should be doing last year. This year they were, lo and behold, hallelujah, doing the right things.
We got it.
Until week 4.
First good team you play, and they went away from things that have been working. Don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it.
877-881-1053. Reggie in Garland. Go ahead, Reggie. You're on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Hey, how y'all doing? I appreciate y'all taking my call. I just wanted to add something real quick. Do you think that because of the stage of the game and how big the game was Kellen Moore overwhelmed by going against Sean Payton and his crew and being on a Sunday night big stage? You think they had a factor in the play call? And I hang up.
I hope not. Right. I wouldn't think so. To me, there's a difference between, let's say I was a small school college player and I'm a rookie and a bunch of guys got hurt and I got called up from the practice squad and I'm going to start, then maybe there's jitters there. To me, for the play caller, if your play caller has jitters, you're going to have an issue. Like Kellen Moore is a bright guy. He knows what he wants to do.
DB's back 6-yard curl routes is not explosive or creative.
Like the guy, he had a plan for what he was going to do, and in some way they must have, this was their plan. Their plan was what they went out and did. I don't know how that became their plan. I don't think it's because he was nervous or scared. I think somewhere along the way there was an error in preparing for this game. From an offensive perspective, there were errors made in preparing for this game.
877-881-1053. Ben is calling in from Vegas. Go ahead, Ben. You're on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
I agree with you, Jake, man. Really appreciate
Hey, Ari, Jeff. I just want to know, I guess I figured that Kellen Moore would have growing pains. Do you think tonight was more just him having growing pains, or was this Jason Garrett's fingerprints on this? And the other thing I want to know your opinions about this coaching staff. Do you think they're able to really adjust to the personnel that goes out? Like if Tyron Smith is going to miss time, we saw Michael Gallup out. We see Sean Payton, his quarterback goes out. They've won 2 in a row. So I just want your opinions on that.
I think next man up is a really fun saying, but the next man up wasn't a starter for a reason. I guess, you know what? I take that back because there were times. The Chaz Green debacle in Atlanta, yes, there was something you could do about that. You could help that guy. You could put a tight end over there. You could put it back. Like, there are things that you could do. Kellen Moore strikes me early in his career as a play caller as a guy that can see what's happening in a game and adjust. We've seen Dak's third quarters have been the best in football. He's still perfect in the third quarter. He hasn't thrown an incompletion in the third quarter. So they're doing something right when they're coming out of halftime and turning it around with their game plan for the second half. I do think that they can do that now. This one, they just had a bad plan from the get-go. So what?
And the reason for that, that's going to be the biggest question.
Right.
What
How
was
did you
the
arrive
impetus?
at this plan? How was this your plan? It wasn't your plan the first 3 weeks, and you had one of the best offenses in football, and your quarterback was squarely in the MVP conversation. And it can't just be the quality of opponent, because quality of opponent isn't dictating how often we do X in situation X.
True.
That's just situational play calling. It's not about that other team. Well, why didn't you give yourself the best chance to succeed tonight?
And Dak, if I'm not mistaken, was number 1 in the NFL in terms of yards yard average per throw, right? Like, I mean, he's
deep targets.
And this is a defense to take shots down the field against. Obviously, they have a good pass rush, but in the back end of this defense had been gashed time and time again by good quarterbacks, which we thought that Dak Prescott was with this offense. So it was like, but part of your strength is matching up to one of their biggest weaknesses, which is Eli Apple and Marshawn Lattimore so far this season.
But instead, you ran into a brick wall over and over again on purpose. Now, the only thing that according to me, my rules, this is not allowed. When you say it looked like JG's fingerprints were all over this,
right.
If Kellen Moore's the play caller and the OC, and for 3 weeks you've been praising him, you got to put this on him. I don't want to. He's my Wonder Boy, too. He's all of our Wonder Boy. But if he gets the credit for the first 3 weeks, I don't think they went into week 4 and the head coach walked in and said, good news, I'm taking over.
Right.
You got to be consistent.
What is he, Mr. Belding? Wait, what's going on here?
This is too fast. There's too many points. It's out of control.
Remember, establish the run. That's the core philosophy here. The run must be established. 877-881-1053, 877-881-1053. Your phone calls, we'll get to them. Plus, Mickey Spagnola will join us. The Dallas Cowboys postgame show brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Man, this was a horrible game by Ezekiel Elliott. It was a horrible game by him, and I understand Ezekiel Elliott. I just hope that he can get back and bounce back. Hopefully, it could be a scenario where that defensive front is just that nasty, but we just didn't see no spark out of it. And even when we're talking about earlier games, like in Adrian Peterson's career, right? We just didn't never see like games like this from Adrian Peterson, nor a game like this from Emmitt Smith back in the day. So it's one of those things where this just was a horrible game collectively by Ezekiel Elliott, and then a horrible game showing for Jason Witten. Those two, it's just how it goes. And then they didn't scheme nothing.
Mattresses.
They didn't use not one scheme to create some things open for their guys. Now, could Dak Prescott play a little bit better? Yes, we wanted that to happen as well. It's just one of those things. Zeke is ignorant as heck. He got the ego taken away tonight. Trent Lewis, sometimes a slap in the face sometimes can be beneficial to you, you see. It can. Yeah. I agree, Paul. I agree. Let's see what they say from here. Connor Williams is trash. Leave Connor alone. Oh, my goodness. Nick Martinez, really appreciate you as well. Zeke looked bad. Yeah, it was a horrible game to display out there. As much as we would give the quarterback some blame and the other guys out there, we got to look at it from here. It's just a horrible game, man. You got some of them, and it wasn't a good telling game for those guys, man. Let's see where we can go from here.
Your nearest store.
I guess the AI is refusing to read. Let me see what we say here. Paul Mills says, I think our team is no longer a run-first offense. It's beginning to be a pass offensive and open up the run game. I agree. I'm thinking that you can establish the pass, which will open up the softer box or the softer looks for Ezekiel Elliott. I'm thinking that they gave you the middle of the field, so I'm thinking that you should have used vertical routes in the middle of the field, forced those safeties to back up a little bit deeper, and I think that's how you would have been able to get more rushing yards from Ezekiel. Nick Martinez, interesting note, Dallas led in the league in play actions before the game. We did play action 7 times out of 35 dropbacks. That's a good nugget right there, Nick Martinez. Very good nugget. I think they mentioned that earlier too. So yeah, you putting the hammer on the head.
To help make you.
I'm thinking that somehow, one way or another, they was probably looking at Jerry Jones down there on Bourbon Street or whatever street that he was on, with taking all of the pictures with the fans, and they was looking at like, hey, I want to be out there as well. Yes, indeed, man. So this is how I'm looking at it, Cowboy Nation. Zeke was running like Trent Richardson. But at the end of the day, even though he was running 1.8 yards per carry, people are going to look at it and say, well, the Saints shut him down. Saints fans are going to be running around saying, hey, we shut down the best running back in the league. We held him for 1.8 yards per carry. We the dominant defense out here. We going to the Super Bowl. We going to the Super Bowl. We beating people without Drew Brees. That's how they're going to look at it. That's just the reality of it. They're going to look at it in those ways. But I'm going to look at it like, look, it's 1st and 10. You already got a stacked box. You're not passing out of the 1st and 10, and you're going to run it right up the gut. You're not bouncing out to the outside. And then on top of that, you run it out of shotgun formation. You're not even given the opportunity for, our formation for the halfback or for the fullback to lead, block, or what have you. You just get lining up on shotgun on 1st and 10, and you handing the rock off to Zeke Elliott right up the gut. It didn't look good for us. It didn't look schemable at all.
Early in the morning.
High ankles are close to a broken ankle. This is from Jeff. And this is the thing when you talk about high ankle sprain. When you're talking about on a big fella like Tyron Smith, that's a long time. There's a lot of weight you got to put on that ankle. That's a lot of weight you got to put on that thing. Can we move Lyle Collins to left tackle for next week and then kick Connor Williams at right tackle and then also put in the plug of, I guess, Suafilo or somebody like that inside? I don't know if they're going to do that. You got to keep Lyle Collins at right tackle, and then you got to figure out a way if Cam Fleming can step it up. That's what you got to do. You got to figure out if Cam Fleming can step it up. That's what you got to do, unfortunately. That's what you got to do. And hopefully Cam Fleming can step it up. That's the whole point of having depth at offensive line. And the other kid that we picked up, the other Connor McGovern, he's still injured, I believe. So, or he's on. Can somebody inform me what happened to Connor McGovern, if he's still on injury reserve, or where is he at? I think he's still injured or what have you, pectoral muscle. And you didn't see Connor McGovern. You don't know whether he's good or bad because he didn't play none during training camp. I didn't see him at all during the preseason as well. So I don't know if Connor McGovern is he any good or bad. I can't just throw that guy out to the wolves.
Across DFW this holiday season, your donation can make a big difference. So please give today at redkettlereason.org. Tyron Smith limped off with 1:39 left in the game, down 2. Cowboys took a sack on 1st and 10 from their own 14. Tyron left the game. He was seen leaving the stadium in a walking boot. Jerry Jones said in the post-game locker room that it was a high ankle sprain. It's all bad news for the Cowboys today. The only good news here is the defense, which,
number 58.
Again, Kevin, after 3 weeks, it was like, this offense is great. It's amazing. Where's the pass rush? Pass rush is MIA, and today it's flipped. Pass rush is great. 5 sacks. What's wrong with the offense?
You can't have everything. Never. But
Ever.
If I had a goal for this game that I wanted to see, like what part of this team have you not seen enough from? I would say I want to see some consistent pass rush, and I want to see these linebackers make plays all over the field. You got a consistent pass rush. The linebackers made plays all over the field, and the part that you started to take for granted for 3 weeks disappeared on you.